Sports fans of all ages, it's our pleasure to present to you the newest name in Delaware sports and sports around the world. He's had absolutely no success in the real world, so he's dedicated his life to talking sports. He's known to be prickly and very opinionated. It's time to get in the huddle with your host, Coach Muddle.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the huddle. I'm a little hungover. I don't know. I'm a little rough this morning, a little partly cloudy, as you might say. So, good morning, Mike. You and
Mike. Hey,
Ohio.
look, congratulations. Look, they played a great game, Mike. Just I would worry about your Browns today. That's what you need to focus on. That they do their job today. So, but no, big win for Ohio State. I give you credit, Mike. Because they look really good, man.
There you go. That's that's what it's. We'll see. I still think Alabama is still a cut above, but we'll go from there and see. Last night, I don't know if you guys caught any of that Texas A&M. Texas A&M, North Carolina
UNC.
game.
Yeah, right.
Thank you. Yeah, North Carolina. Yeah, that was a good game up until the last bit there. So. Of course, I'm worried. I'm a Cleveland fan. What's up, TJ? Good morning, man. Thanks for checking us out this morning. We appreciate everyone checking us out. Make sure if you haven't, go over to YouTube, subscribe. We're streaming there live. We're also on Twitter live now, streaming on all three platforms. So make sure you jump on board on all three and ring the bell. We appreciate it. But we got a big day. Lots of implications in football, a lot of games, a lot of people playing it's a playoff game this week for a lot of teams. The Giants. Can the Eagles be a spoiler? And I can't believe these words are coming out of my mouth ever. Can the Eagles win one for the Giants? I got to be, and so does all the other Giant fans have to be Eagles fan tonight. Obviously the Giants got to take care of business at 1:00 first, and with the Cowgirls and see how that rolls. But I'm pretty confident. Daniel Jones was not on the injury report at all this week, so I'm assuming he's 100%. And hopefully we could get back to some resemblance of a running game. And I think if we could do that, we'll come out on top.
Yeah, well, the defense has showed up. It's about the offense. They got to do something because they've been just horrible the last few weeks. I mean, the way they've played, it doesn't matter how good your defense is going to play. When you're scoring 6 points, as we all know, you're not going to win many games. And they don't need a lot, man. If Danny Dimes could, and that offense could, let's just say, give them 21 points, I think they got a shot today. Because I think they're going to, neutralize everybody's, Andy Dalton's lighting it up. He's playing better. But that Eagles defense last week was depleted, a lot of injuries. So we'll see what happens. But it's going to be a good game. And it's a shame because this is the kind of game, Coach, where a crowd could really factor in. Could you imagine MetLife Stadium today with the Cowboys coming in, playoffs type atmosphere?
Right.
They're definitely going to miss that. What's up, Ted?
I like the Giants. I like the Giants as well today, but I really thought the Eagles would be a spoiler tonight. I really had a good feeling about them until I seen some news this morning that McLaren's coming back today, Antonio Gibson's coming back today, Alex Smith's at quarterback. But the big news is no Miles Sanders today and no Dallas Goedert. Yeah. It's going to hurt a little bit, I think. So I don't know, Coach. Root for the Giants. Hopefully, at least give them a shot. But I don't know, man. I think Washington has the upper hand tonight.
Yeah.
But the Eagles, I know they're depleted, but Jim Schwartz last game
Yeah.
You know, and
taking the stuff I said to him and using the zone. Look at him over here.
No, I'm
That's
not.
exactly what he is.
No,
Yeah,
I'm not.
So what I was going to say is literally what
Go
I
ahead.
just said.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
He can't.
Go
This is
ahead.
exactly
Say
what I
it
said to
then.
him on the
No,
phone.
go ahead. Say it. Go ahead.
Nick,
Go ahead.
is he plagiarizing?
That's
Plagiarizing.
Coach for you. Whenever
That's
he
right.
brings you a stat, it's something Sully texted to him.
That's right. That's right. Just like on some of the big shows, you think those guys do their own work? They got guys sending them stats, man.
Right.
You know, I happen to have my own stat guy that sends me stuff. I'm sorry that hey, it is the Coach Muddle show. I am Coach Muddle, and I do got some guys that give me information. I mean, it's unbelievable.
That's right.
It's the coach said it's Schwartz's last game. He came out with the no hats policy. He doesn't want any other team wearing, obviously their division championship hats on the Lincoln Financial Field. But that's the one thing I do think that is in the Eagles' favor. I think a lot of those defensive guys respect Jim Schwartz. I think they'll play hard. And that's what's going to keep this game close. Look, Washington Redskins offense isn't lighting anything up on fire. So if the Eagles defense can come out and hold them to, let's say, 17 to 20 points, the Eagles got a shot because then you just need Jalen Hurts to get you 21 points. But it's going to be tough because, like Stizz said, Miles Sanders is out, not a lot of weapons.
Ted, I want to know what you're smoking, Ted. I want to know what you're smoking.
He's right.
No, wait a second.
Why does he care? Coach. Why do the Eagles care about the Giants?
No, about the draft pick, because whether you win or lose, you're still in the top 10. It doesn't fluctuate. Wait a second. If the Giants win,
it does fluctuate. It could be a top 5 pick or 10 or 11. That's a huge difference.
It's not going to be a top 5 pick. It's not a top 5 pick.
It could be if certain teams win. Yes, it could. If certain teams win, yes, it could.
You're not. But now, if you're the New York Giants,
are you looking at the standings?
If you're the New York Giants and you lose, you get a top 10 pick. If you win and go to the playoffs, you go from top 10 to.
Yeah, but he's talking about the Eagles, not the Giants.
You're not getting my point. Clean out your ears.
He's talking about the Eagles losing.
Clean out your ears, and I just explained the Eagles. It doesn't fluctuate as big as with the Giants fluctuate, or with the Cowboys or the Washington team. Those 3 teams, all 4 teams could be in the top 10, but one team's got to win. That winner goes from being a top 10 pick all the way down to being the 20th pick because they're the division winner.
Right. But the
Eagles will not be the highest pick they can get is 6. Okay, if they were to win, that they will drop.
You're wrong. You're wrong.
And 12.
I'm looking at the standings, Coach. You're wrong.
Go ahead. What is it?
I'm just saying they could pick higher. They could pick because the Falcons are 4-11. If they win, they're 5-11. Detroit has more wins. They could pick. It would be Jacksonville, the Jets. If the Bengals were to win, which I don't think that's going to happen, and they have the tiebreaker, but they could pick 4th or 5th. So that's huge. To whereas if they win, they could jump a bunch of teams. That's a huge thing. I don't think you throw the game because
you don't need a quarterback. You've got Jalen Hurts. So why do you need to
But Coach, it's a big thing, and not just that. If you're in 3rd or 4th and somebody wants Justin Fields, then they could trade up to you, and you have that spot. So it could be big. I mean, I wouldn't throw the game, but still, there's a point to that. There's a point to that. There is. I mean, draft positioning is important, and look, a position or 2 here or there can be the difference in a good player or a great player.
This is the big difference here. It looks like Nevada Nick paid his stat guy a little bit more than Coach gave up for his stat guy.
Exactly.
Coach is reaching deep. Coach, I got a couple bucks for you.
I had an airport issue. So it was a little rough tonight, and I couldn't find my other glasses. I can't really see very well. I can't see well to begin with. So it's a little rough, but you know what? That's the problem, man. Have a little pride in yourself, man. Win a football game. Have a little pride. Stop being such a bunch of slapdicks, man. Get some
Coming
pride in
from the
yourself,
Giants, haven't made
man.
the playoffs in how many
So,
years? No, I
so
just some people I
have a
get it,
little
but
pride, man.
yeah, but like Coach, if you're a Jets fan, do you feel better that you're going to be 2-14 or 3-14? Oh no, now
totally different. Totally
now that's
different.
no, it's not. It's the same
It is
thing.
totally
Different
different. It's
teams.
totally different, man.
Oh, look,
It's
this
totally
guy.
different. It's
All right,
totally
let's just
different.
talk about sports instead of arguing your idiot.
Let's look at. We'll get into this after the season about
yeah.
where the draft is and players versus the number 4 pick and 6 pick. Like you honestly think that they're not trading the pick. Okay, they're not. But we'll shelf that for another day.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move on. Let's move on with our. Yeah,
I wanted to get into the Eagles anyway with Jim Schwartz leaving, obviously.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think that's a big deal. I think he kind of, things have kind of gotten not ugly, but it's not great in Philadelphia right now. 3 years removed from winning the Super Bowl, and look,
eating too many pork chops. That's what happens.
Yeah, it's too many pork chops. That's right. But he, no, I mean, he even said too he's going to take a year off, but he said he might retire too, which I'm surprised because he's only I think 54 or something. So I think Philadelphia might have just worn him down. But now that's been one of the things with the Eagles that's been stable. And you know how I am about having continuity in the coaching staff and keeping the same thing. Coach. All right, somebody called me pork chop, and that's what Coach wants to allude to. So, and it's Coach's cousin. So, Joe, if you're watching, you dope. And that's fine. You can look. I love that you're watching the show and you're showing the guy's obviously lost his mind because he's talking about people standing for the flag and all, which I've never even talked about, which and don't really want to. But yeah, okay. Hopefully, Joe's watching. And he doesn't watch sports, but somehow he's watching our show. So, which doesn't really make any sense. But okay, I'm a pork chop. Thanks for putting that up there, Coach.
You're welcome, man. I just thought I'd share.
I think sports.
We got a big huddle here. There's a lot of people in the huddle, and transparency.
No, he belongs in a padded room just like you. So, but no, look, it's not good for the Eagles because now you got to find a D coordinator and one that works. And that concerns me because you've had a guy who's done his job now for a long time. I know it hasn't been perfect.
Greg Williams is out there.
Yeah, but it has to match your defense. The Eagles have a 4-3.
But hold on a second. I think if you're going to do it, now's the time because you on a salary dump. Because you're so over the cap and you got to let a lot of guys go because of money. I mean, you can make those moves. I mean, I don't look at it as it'd be different if you had guys in place, but you're going to have to ship out a lot of guys. So I don't think you look at it as a.
Yeah, but the Eagles are a 4-3 defense. They always have been, and so their team. You got Brandon Graham and guys like that. It's not. I just.
All right, but you're talking about guys that might not be there next year because of money.
There is a bunch, and because when you only win 4 games, Coach, that's usually what happens. Is there's a lot of change. So we'll see what happens with them, and but I don't think they're going to bring a 3-4 guy in. I hope. I got a feeling they'll probably promote from within, but I would go out and get a new defensive coordinator. I would try to find somebody else to come in there, a new voice. Who that is, I don't know, but there's some guys out there, and I'm sure they'll figure it out.
Looks like Dougie Fresh is back next year, huh?
Yeah, that's what it looks like. I mean, he said he deserves to be the coach, so
I don't know.
Look, I think the best thing the Eagles did was bring in Dorsey because I as much as you want to. He was a big part of the putting that Chiefs team together. He's a big part of putting the Browns team together. That's there. Not going to get the credit for it, but he was in the building putting those two teams together. So he's a good general manager. I happen to like the guy, so I think it'll really help out and let I wouldn't call Howie a numbers guy when you're $68 million over the cap, but let Howie do what he does, and at least have this other guy that's knows football anyway.
I wouldn't blame that on Howie, though. I think, they won the Super Bowl a couple of years ago, and we're trying to really go for it the next couple of years. And they've put themselves in, just like the Saints kind of do, just to put themselves in. No, they're in terrible cap shape, no doubt about it. Howie knows how to work the cap. He's one of the best at it. But where his problem has been his talent evaluation and drafting. That's the Eagles' problem.
Well, I think you got a guy that'll really help with Dorsey. I like the guy. I like that guy.
He drafted Baker Mayfield, so how's that working out?
Let's hope the Birds don't draft a wide receiver next year because they'd be really bombed out on that.
and Stizz, that's one of that's the a lot of people are talking about Devontae Smith.
The kid from Alabama. Yeah, I've seen that in a couple of spots, man.
Yeah, which to me it's like they did it. They invested a second round pick 2 years ago, Rager last year, and then if you have that's 3 years where you put a top first or second round pick into a receiver. And like I said, once again, we're going to watch, like we said about DK Metcalf, now Justin Jefferson.
Yeah.
I mean, who's lighting the league on fire. I mean, and Stizz, what did he miss? The first 2 or 3 weeks? Is that what it was?
The first 2, yeah.
But still, he has like over 1,200 yards, a ton of touchdowns. Yeah. And he could have been okay. And like I said, and he has size too, which you can't coach at receiver. Rager's not a big kid. He's fast, but he's not big. That's going to be another one that I'm sure the Eagles fans are always going to love watching Justin Jefferson light it up every year.
Oh, Jefferson's in the conversations of the Rookie of the Year too, I'm sure.
Yeah.
If Justin Herbert wasn't playing so well,
it's probably one of those two. It's got to be. Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then obviously defensive will be Chase Young. I think everybody knows that.
Yeah. I agree. I agree with that.
Yeah. Now,
how about? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Stizz.
No, I was going to get off the subject for a second, but how about them Jets? They went 3 in a row. I mean, if you remember, we talked about this early in the season that we thought that New England would be their only win of the season. That was their only possible win.
Right.
Now they come off and beat 2 good teams, and here we are in Week 17 playing the New England shitty Patriots. I mean, they win 3 in a row or what? I know, they already said they're firing Adam Gase after this game's over, which I don't know what took them so long, but
right.
I mean,
as soon as the Jets won the first game, I would have fired them.
Yeah, right. I agree with you, Coach.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, that made no sense. I just can't believe the owner didn't put a directive. I would have sacked guys like, all right, maybe not the first round pick just because you want him to get the experience. But other guys, man, if anybody was just any bit hurt or anything, I would have sat him. Yeah, now I know Justin Fields looked good yesterday, but still.
Yeah, I agree.
You feel a lot more confident knowing Trevor Lawrence is going to be your guy instead of Justin Fields. And I think, now there's going to be that internal struggle with the Jets. Do you take Fields or do you keep Darnold and maybe move back or sit there and take another position? Because let's be honest, the Jets just don't need a quarterback. They need a lot.
They need a lot, yeah.
Well, I think you could still trade back and get a quarterback and still pick up, because I'm sorry, as well as Darnold's been playing, I don't see you getting better than, I think he tops out maybe at a 3rd round pick, but at best, I think you get a 4, a 4 and a 5 or something like that, or, maybe a 4 this year and a 3 next year, depending on what he does or something, I mean, so I don't see that, but I think you could trade back, and I think the kid from BYU or you have obviously the kid from Alabama, the kid from Florida as well, and the kid from Notre Dame. I think Book is a good quarterback. I mean, I don't know that he's a 1st round pick, but
yeah, he looked too good against Alabama. He looked awful, like the stage was a little too big for him, man. He looked nervous early. I mean, the one time literally freaking threw it backwards, and then he had a guy wide open, threw it 10 yards over his head. I mean, honestly, I could have made that throw. But, I mean, I don't know about Book. I'm going to disagree with you on that. But in the later rounds, you might be right. I think you said he wasn't a first-round pick. I mean, I don't know, though. I don't, when's the last time a Notre Dame quarterback's come out and been good in the NFL, too?
You're right. But I think it was during the ACC championship, him and Trevor Lawrence, the stat line is pretty close to being the same.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you're comparing it, I mean, their stat line is the same. So
yeah, well, stats are for losers, and this is college and then NFL, so it's two different animals, and you know that, Coach.
I know, but a lot of guys are drafted by their stats. There, Nick, they're drafted based on their production. So a lot of guys with that stat.
Yeah, no, stats are but it's mainly their film, their attributes, their arm, things like that, not how many touchdowns they throw, and because we've seen plenty of Heisman Trophy winners who don't even get drafted. You see it all the time at quarterback. Jason White from Oklahoma. I mean, it happens.
Wasn't that kid like 27 when he won the Heisman?
I think he was. He was old. He was old. But we'll see.
Which, by the way, the Heisman is Tuesday.
Which
virtual
is weird.
Heisman, which is very weird. That
it's before the bowl. I mean, after the bowl games.
Yeah. Yep. So.
Yes. But I think it's going to be the kid from Alabama. I think he ends up winning.
Did that line come out yet for Bama, Ohio State, Nick?
Yeah, 8. Stizz.
Okay, we were talking 6.5. Okay, that's right around the number. I like Bama.
Yeah, well, and that's the one thing I would love to know, because he would never admit it publicly, but I would love to know privately if Dabo Swinney would say he regrets doing the ranking them number 11. Because, I mean, look, I think Ohio State probably would have won the game anyway.
Right.
But, man, it looked like they came out ready to go. And I just wonder if he had them below Coastal Carolina. So, and like I said, I agree with Coach. I didn't think they did enough to deserve. I believe they were a top 4 team. But, you also got to put the resume out there. And I didn't know that their resume was good enough to be in the top 4, but obviously they proved they were a top 4 team, obviously.
Yeah. And I think Clemson, I don't know, you guys may correct me, as obviously you do all the time, but has Clemson all their playoff losses been in Louisiana?
I don't know about that.
I think the last 2 times they lost, it's been like it's Louisiana. They just can't win in Louisiana.
Brian Kelly got pissed off afterwards because somebody alluded about. I mean, Notre Dame, when let's be honest, has really struggled in basically since 1998, 0-7 in BCS bowls,
right,
playoff games, or the Big 6 New Year's Day bowls, and they've lost in those 7 games. By I believe it's 163 points. So, you're averaging over, a 23-point loss basically. And each loss has been by 14 or more. So they, and look, it's just, that's how, Notre Dame, they're just not at that level anymore. They're really not. And the times they've gotten in, let me be honest, like, I don't think the schedule's been that tough. I know this year you can say, but they lucked out a little bit. The ACC's not that tough.
Right.
They play Clemson, and Trevor Lawrence is out and 4 defensive starters. They win that game, but then when you see the rubber match, and you saw what happened. And look, I know Alabama only beat them by 17. Alabama should have beat them by 37, but they kind of let them hang around. I mean, you saw that game, Stizz. It was never in doubt. Alabama jumped out to a 14-0 lead, and it was pretty much game, set, and match right then.
Gotta hate them backdoor covers.
Yeah, the worst, man. Especially when it's 1 minute to go and it's worthless.
Yeah,
right. But that's gambling, man. That's gambling. You guys want to talk about the Saints a little bit?
I was going to bring that up. Yep.
Yeah, that's a very interesting story because now with Kamara, I mean, obviously they don't have a running back today. Good.
Yeah. So their primary running back today is Ty Montgomery.
I thought it would be Taysom Hill.
Taysom Hill's going to be a part of that. Yeah, right. Part of that. But Ty Montgomery is going to be your starting running back today. He took 1 snap this year. Wow. He's your converted wide receiver running back from the Green Bay Packers, if you remember that name.
Right. Yep.
Yeah. So it's 1 snap this year he took, and he's your only guy that's available.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you're going to be seeing a lot of Taysom Hill, I'm sure, Coach.
Right. But once again, this is what we talked about. I've been saying for weeks, and I know you guys agree with me about the NFL should have a bubble for the playoffs. Well, now, Kamara might be out next week because if it's not if the game's Saturday, he's out definitely because you need 10 days from when you test positive. Right. If it's Sunday, they said it only if he's asymptomatic. So now, you could be talking about having a Pro Bowl running back out. Joe Hayden tested positive. He's most likely out next week for the Steelers, and look, once again, you got a whole position group that's going to miss a game. And the Saints are battling for a number 1 seed. So it would be pretty crazy to me if the Packers end up losing today and then the Saints lose because they can't have players. I mean, it's starting to get a little ridiculous. And, I know the NFL just wants to play games, and I don't think they really care, just to be honest with you. But to me, it's like, you want to get who should be the champion figured out. And, I don't know how you're going to do it if we're going to keep having these weeks where whole position groups are out. And I'm telling you, it's going to end up being – and look, I'm already proven right if Kamara's out next week. I mean, that's a huge loss to the Saints.
Big time. Big time. There almost has to be
they would have the double bye. They would have if they had the normal playoff format.
Right.
And they won, they'd have the bye, and it would be all hunky-dory. But
they almost have to have an asterisk next to the champion this year, 2020, 2021, because of all the, because all the stuff going on with COVID.
Yeah. No, and look, now it's really starting to affect playoff teams too. I mean, the Browns obviously last week with the whole wide receiver group, definitely the Ravens because, I said it back then, the Ravens would have beat the Steelers that week. They lost because they had nobody. And look, the Ravens would be in the playoffs now with a playoff berth clinched. But because that game, they have to win today. So, I mean, it's pretty crazy. I mean, I just can't believe the NFL is going to take this risk going into the playoffs. And I'm not saying you need to go to one central location, but like Coach said, whether, you put them in a hotel or whatever it is you do, you should do something because you got a problem. If, Patrick Mahomes comes in and tests positive for Corona. And then what's people going to say, especially if it's the Chiefs, the overwhelming favorite? What are people going to say if Mahomes comes down with COVID and misses a game?
And what are you going to do? Play a playoff game, on a Wednesday, and then they're going to have to turn around and play on a Sunday again because, you're going to push games? I just don't see that.
No, I don't think they'll push it, Coach. That's the thing. I think they're so ho-hum on, they wanted to get in. And look, okay, they're going to finish 17 games today. And you know what? Honestly, I'll give them credit. It's been better than I thought it would be, even with what's happened with the Ravens and the Browns. But still, you need to protect the playoffs. And I'm surprised they're not going to do that.
Yep.
We'll see what happens.
What's up, JD?
What's going on, Jason Dean? Tough loss, buddy.
My man.
Unbelievable. But, anyway. So, hold on a second. Hold on.
What you got, Coach?
Coach, you can't hear it because you have your headphones on. I keep telling you that.
Oh, I cut it off. Hold on.
With Coach Muddle. Cha-ching! Dollar bills.
Well, I just wanted to get that part in. So
I still got to work on my entrance too. We'll have to get something.
Yeah, we'll have to. We got to get you in the.
Stizz wants entrance music now. Listen to him.
Yeah, I know. Look, man. And, when the guy's 80% on,
yeah, man,
80% on, the guy deserves some entrance music.
Yeah, needs some accolades, coming my way. He's still covered. That's right, Jason Dean.
Yeah, hold on to that, Jason Dean. They covered 19 and a half.
Yeah, there you go. Hold on to it, man. Hold on to it. So,
80% is, I mean, that's unheard of. I mean, it really is. It's unheard of, especially over a course of a season and even 30 games. I mean, yeah, it's pretty crazy. So, going to be tough shoes to fill Next year, obviously, that's to do back-to-back like that's near impossible. But still, I mean, what a year.
Yeah, I'll take it as it comes. That's all, week to week. That's how you play.
Now, Stizz, you said you do have some fantasy stuff today. If you obviously had a horrible commissioner, which there are some people that have fantasy football, championships today. So you want to go over some of your fantasy stuff?
Yes, sure. I tell you, if you're in a league where you're playing in your fantasy championship this week, in week 17, run fast. Try to get out of that league.
Yeah.
So most leagues, as I said, end in week 16, and the reason being is because here we see it. Week 17, you got guys not playing.
Yep.
A la Patrick Mahomes, Big Ben, your star receivers, running backs, whatnot. Or you got guys that locked up their seeds already and they may not play the full game.
Yeah.
So, who wants to take that chance in your Super Bowl of trying to guess, who's going to play, who's not going to play?
Right.
So that's my take on it. If you are in your Week 17 championship, I got a couple guys I'm looking at here. I'm going to jump over to the waiver wire, and I'm going to grab A.J. Dillon, running back from Green Bay. There's no Jamal Williams again this week, 2 weeks in a row. Dillon, if you watched him last week against Tennessee, he had a big game, fellas. 21 rushes, 124 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Aaron Jones was sidelined most of that first half with a hip injury. Now, he came back and had a great game, but I think I'll be honest with you, I'm a little bit opposite of you, Nick, on that pick. I think Green Bay gets up big. I mean, they're going for that number 1 seed. So I think they kind of limit Aaron Jones, and, they sprinkle in a lot of A.J. Dillon. And, if he's out on the waiver wire, which he should be, I would pick him up if you're in desperation mode. Start of the week, I'm gonna go with the hot hand, and I'm gonna go with Jonathan Taylor. I'll tell you, I wasn't too impressed with him early in the year, but the last 4 weeks he came on strong. He's averaging 23 fantasy points per game, pretty damn good. He's had some weak defenses to play against. He's in talks of being a top first-round pick next year in fantasy, which I don't know if I go that far yet, but he's in that division, Houston, Tennessee, Jacksonville. I mean, he's got some weak defenses to play against, so we'll see what happens. He had 5 touchdowns in the last 4 weeks he played. 2 against Pittsburgh last week, who does have a banged-up defense, but they're still pretty good. So he's playing against the Jags this week, 4th worst versus the run. So I'd key up Jonathan Taylor this week. My sit of the week this week, man, I gave him out as my waiver wire pickup last week, Tony Pollard from the Dallas Cowboys. Listen, 2 weeks ago, versus San Fran, had a monster game. 69 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns, 6 catches, 63 yards in the air. Zeke's back, fellas. I guess, hey, Steve, Happy New Year, buddy.
Happy New Year.
What's going on, brother?
Happy New Year.
Zeke, I guess they're showing Zeke as your featured back again. He came back last week against the Birds, 105 yards, which was his best of the year, which is crazy if you think about it. Zeke was probably your number 3 or your number 4 fantasy pick of the first round last year. And, man, he disappointed all year long. We talked about it with Ted. I think we talked about it with a couple other guys.
Yeah.
Tony Pollard actually outplayed him all year, I thought.
Yeah, I agree.
Now, Zeke comes back with 105 yards, 4 receptions, 34 yards in the air. And Pollard comes in, after a great 2 weeks ago against San Fran, he followed it up with 12 yards on the ground, 1 catch for 8 yards in a backup role to Zeke. So, yeah, you're going to have to sit Tony Pollard, unfortunately. I think they're going to feature Zeke the whole game. They're going for that win against the Giants. They're going for a division win. So we'll see what happens from there. That's what I got. Good luck to everybody that's in them Week 17 championships. And we'll see what happens.
Yes.
All right.
So, yeah, but this is right. If you're in Week 17, man, you got to get out of that league.
You're cringing. You're cringing.
Yeah, it's. I mean, come on, everybody's known that. I mean, that mistake was made early on. You know what I mean? Like years ago, I'm saying, when it would start. But now that obviously, and like you said already, Big Ben, Mahomes, and then look at the Eagles. The Eagles, nothing to play for, going to sit Fletcher Cox, Miles Sanders, D-Jax because the dope scores a touchdown and then does a flip and hurts himself, which they're saying it's not that, but he didn't really play. Right. Yeah. And you know what, though, too, when you've had the injuries he's had with, I know he had the sports hernia, and then I don't know if it's a hamstring thing. What are you doing flips in the end zone, too? Yeah. I mean, the guy hasn't been on the field, and he's running around like an idiot. And I remember Stizz talked about that. He said he wished he would just get drilled. And I agree with him. It's clown stuff. And you'd think you'd learn your lesson after you make the mistake of scoring a touchdown and dropping the ball at the 1 yard line, that maybe, okay, like DK Metcalf that one game where he made the mistake. Well, it was either later in that game or the next week where, if you remember, he hawks that guy down and stops him at the 1, and they end up getting, stopping him on 4th and goal. That's the kind of stuff I want to see, is redeeming yourself, not just continuing to be a clown. And look, D-Jax, he had a nice career for the Eagles, but does a lot of dumb shit too.
Yeah, I agree, Ted. You wouldn't want to be in a league like that. I am curious, though, with them, possibly pushing a 17-game, 17-game season next year. I wonder for fantasy if they're going to, maybe push it a week, up.
Well, it'll still be 18 weeks, though, Stizz. It'll extend a week. So you'll still have a bye week. I know, wasn't there some things, too, Coach and Stizz, that if they did another week, they might have 2 bye weeks or something?
Now, the NFL did have 2 byes at once. They tried that early 90s, I want to say. Mm-hmm. There was a time they did the double bye.
Right.
But yes, they've been talks of figuring that out and possibly putting in another bye week.
Yeah. Well, they got to look at something, because you can see, man, with the injuries. And one thing I think we learned this year, you need some sort of semblance of a preseason, because you could see it this year. A lot of guys came in not ready, and injuries were just rampant. And, you don't want to see that, because I know Stizz will tell you, and he's going to get into that a little bit in the next few weeks when we're in the playoffs, about, all these picks that were huge fantasy draft picks earlier in the year and obviously just didn't pan out. I mean, you were almost better this year if you were picking 6 or 7, because a lot of those top guys, except for maybe Kamara, Michael Thomas, Christian McCaffrey, Zeke, Saquon Barkley, right. It all didn't work out.
Michael Thomas, you said Thomas, Michael Thomas,
right? And Joe, the reason is because the Steelers are sitting all their guys. So I think they figure the Steelers are probably going to lose to the Browns. And I think, Bills are going to play their players. But then if they see the Browns are up, you're going to see their guys starting to come out. Yeah, no, I agree, Joe. But that's the reason, is because they're in contention with the Steelers. Steelers aren't playing Big Ben. Joe Hayden just tested positive for COVID. He's out. I think there was a couple guys who were around him as well that are now out. So I think they're figuring, obviously the Browns should take care of business, but it's the Browns. So, yeah.
Michael Johnson, I don't know.
Yeah. That would be the reason, Joe. Because McDermott said we're going to do what's best for our team. So that might be, even if they get up to a 14-0 lead, is sitting some guys.
They talked about Allen only playing a quarter today. Yeah, that's what I heard.
I know. So, yeah.
Cole Beasley's sideline. He's not playing today. They're resting him. So, yeah.
I didn't know that.
I think John Brown's back, though. So, I mean, like Coach said, maybe they plan for a quarter to get up, in the lead, and, who cares after that? Get your guys rested for the playoffs.
Well, and two, look, man, the Dolphins really put the hammer down. They pressure you on defense. You don't want something happening. And, I agree, they want that 2 seed, but you would hope most likely the Steelers are going to, Mason Rudolph playing, Garrett and him are going to be hopefully not throwing helmets at each other today.
Yeah, you hope it's not reminiscent of that game. Boy, Mason Rudolph, he's terrible. Jesus.
Oh, he's brutal.
Brutal. He is. I remember when he was the quarterback when Antonio Brown, when I had Antonio Brown in fantasy a couple years ago, and he came in for Big Ben. He was god awful.
Yeah. Now, Coach, you want me to get in my picks? What do you want to do?
No, you want what? Oh, so Stizz, you get the
prop bet. Okay.
We'll put the prop bet out at the end because he's on a a little bit of a big roll.
Fire,
So, let's go. Nevada Nick gets he gets bumped from the finale. And
I like your style, Coach.
Keep it up, Coach. You'll get bumped from the show. Keep
yeah.
It won't be the Coach Muddle. It'll be you'll get bumped from the show. Keep it up, Coach.
Yep. All right.
Hey, like they say, what's that? I'm trying to think of that saying.
It'll be changed to the Pork Chop Podcast, Coach.
That's right, the Pork Chop Podcast. Man. There you go.
P squared. Don't bite the hand that feeds you, Coach. Don't bite the hand that feeds you. The Pork Chop Podcast.
That's right, man. That's right. Michael Johnson. Whatever.
I like it. Got a little flank to it.
Yeah, I like that too. Yeah, the Pork Chop Podcast.
Tommy, hey man, you don't know yet.
Tommy?
You don't know yet. You don't know, buddy. Vikings. I don't think that's a guarantee. Zimmer's back. Do you, Coach?
No, I think he's gone.
I think he should be gone. I mean, because you know what, Coach? And me and Coach had like a bunch of guys last year. Gase was one of them. Dan Quinn was one of them. And we said, why are these guys coming back? And they all ended up being lame ducks this year. And I hate to say it, I like Zimmer, Tommy. I think he's a good coach. And I think he'd be a good defensive coordinator somewhere. But if you bring him back next year, he's going to be a lame duck next year. I guarantee you he'll get fired next year. Right. And, plus you look, too, what happens with Kirk Cousins. Would you want him to be your quarterback? Another 150. I mean, we got to wait and see.
Why don't you just put a cool 500 on it, Tommy?
Yeah, I know, Tommy. Come on, Tommy.
Let's talk some real money, man. Why don't you put $1,000 on it, big boy? Come on, man.
Yeah, that'll never happen, Mike, the coach and captain show. That'll never happen. You got a better chance of seeing me win the Boston Marathon than those two ever being on the same airwaves again.
A lot of came in second last year.
Listen, hey, you know what? I just put this out there now. So when the schedule comes out and Nevada Nick is absolutely locked in that it's the Eagles playing in Vegas, which we don't know for sure, but
no, it is. Look it up.
One of our teams is going to be in Vegas. So, and I'm sure that fat little midget will be there.
Oh God!
And we'll get to clear the air. So it should be fun.
Oh, I'm sure that'll be good. No, I think it's the Raiders are at the Giants, so it'll be in New York, Coach. And then the Eagles. It's already the schedule's already figured out for next year, except for I think it's 1 or 2 games. And they will be at Vegas. Look it up. If you would see, Coach, there's a thing called Google. Okay,
I never heard of it.
Go to Google and you type things in, and then you can find all this great information out that you could actually use on the show instead of relying on people, like Sully to text you things. It's a great thing, Coach. You do what's called research for the show, and then maybe you'd be what's called informed.
I have no idea. I don't know anything about that, man.
Just type in Eagles 2021 opponents, and it'll come up. All right, Coach?
Okay. All right.
There you go, Coach. I'll get to my picks here. And I feel like changing my
Tommy,
first pick.
Captain is not way taller than me because I'm not 4'11".
Calm down.
Tommy Mussane!
Yeah.
Tommy Mussane! I'm telling you right now, Tommy Mussane!
No, hold on.
I'm not 4'11".
Coach, put what Tommy set up.
What?
Tommy, stats are for losers, and I'll say it again. I don't care what Cousins is in the top 10 of, and a lot of it's because
the top 10 of mop-up duty.
Yeah, and because they're losing and they're coming back. Cousins doesn't win games. I don't care if he's in the top 10. The guy's a loser. He doesn't win. And there's no excuses anymore because he went to the Vikings and they were coming off an NFC Championship game appearance. And all they've done is gone downhill. Yeah, they upset the Saints last year. Wow, he got one playoff win in 3 years, or I think it's been 3 years. I keep hating. The whole league hates. Everybody says the same thing about Kirk Cousins. The guy's a bum.
Yes,
I
agree.
He's a front runner, I mean, it's just there's nothing you can say. He gets his stats against bad teams. Go look his record up, Tommy, against winning teams, and come talk to me.
Yeah, tell me that stat. Let's get into some real business now. Let's get into the pick.
So I feel like changing my first pick, but I won't. All right, my first game, I'm going to give out Coach's Giants. So I'm going to go Giants plus 1.5. Look, Dallas has looked better the last 3 weeks. There's no doubt about it. But I think Giants defense is going to be able to slow down that Cowboys offense. And the bigger thing is I think that Giants offense going against that terrible Dallas defense, although they did look better in the second half against the Eagles last week, I think they're going to find ways to score. And let's not kid each other. The Cowboys have been forgotten about, so they win. Well, now there's a game where everything's on the line, and this is where the Cowboys choke. And they do it every year. Maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong. But I can't bet the Cowboys. Whenever I bet the Cowboys, I always lose. Earlier in the year, I bet them. I lose. I can't bet the Cowboys. And it's not because I hate them. It's because whenever I bet them, they lose. I remember last year when they played the Eagles in week 16 or 17 when the Eagles were missing their whole damn team. I bet the Cowboys, and they couldn't win that game. So I'm going to go my little rant. But, yeah, I'm going to take Giants plus 1.5. I think the Giants find a way to win this game at home. I really do. I'm going to go to the Dolphins plus 1. I think the Bills are a better team, no doubt, but I think what's going to happen is, look, Bills are kind of coming in, and you guys both know, you can't go into a game like kind of half in, half out. You know what I mean? Especially football. And that's kind of how the Bills are coming in. Are they going to play their guys for a whole, the whole game? I like the Dolphins in this spot. I think they need this game. Like I said, I think the Bills are going to, Cole Beasley's out. I don't think Allen will play the whole game. I think this game means much more to the Dolphins. I'm going to take the Dolphins plus 1. My next game, I'm going to go to the Raiders. The Raiders minus 2.5.
Yeah, he just blew his whole day now. He just blew his whole day because the Raiders aren't winning, man.
But yeah, they will. Because you know why? Because it's the Raiders. And now the game is meaningless and all the pressure's off. Look at last week. They only had a 2% chance of winning or making the playoffs, but they actually played better against the Dolphins because the pressure's off. You watch. The Raiders are going to get a win today, minus 2.5. I like the Raiders. And the Broncos are really, Stizz talked about it last week. Broncos are banged up on defense. Yeah. I think the Raiders find a way to win today. So I'm going to take the Raiders minus 2.5. Then I'm going to go to the Eagles tonight. And that what Ted said, that could be important, Ted, about Fitz. No Fitz to save the day. And he's right about that because Fitz has come in twice in the fourth quarter and won games for the Dolphins. I'm going to go with the Eagles plus 4 tonight. Look at Joe 0-3. We'll see, Joe. You had that big week last week. We'll see what happens this week. I'm going to go Eagles plus 4. I know they got a bunch of players out, but I think that defense is going to play hard knowing it's Schwartz's last game. He's got the whole no hats policy. I think they find a way to limit that Redskins offense, keep it close. I don't know if they're going to win, but I definitely think they cover the 4. Still a division game. 4 points is still a lot. You got to win by 5. I think I wouldn't be surprised if the Redskins won this game by 3 or less. I really wouldn't. So I'm going to go Eagles plus 4. And then I got a 2-team teaser I'm going to give out. I'm going to go Chargers plus 1. Chargers are minus 5, so you get 6 points. And I'm going to take Chargers plus 1. Chiefs are playing for nothing. Tyreek Hill out. Patrick Mahomes out. Most of the team out. And then I'm going to take the Titans minus 1 in what's a must-win game for them to get into the playoffs. So Titans minus 1. Chargers plus 1 in a 2-team tease.
And Derrick Henry, what does he need? 225 or 223 to get 3,000?
Yeah.
Yep, 223.
Yeah. I mean, he had 205 last time against Houston, so it's not out of the realm of possibility, but I don't think it'll happen. And Kevin, you're probably right, but that's why you got to play the games because any given Sunday.
Right. Absolutely, man. So thanks, and thanks, Mary, for checking us out. I appreciate it because I'm at the the Lukowski Cottage broadcasting from. Got to reveal my secret location, So
the estates.
So, the estates. I'm still here in Delco, so
Okay.
son. Playing for the draft pick. So we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. So all right, everyone. We appreciate you.
You eat Stizz still. What are you?
What are you talking about?
What are we talking? What are you talking about?
What are you talking about, man?
Coach is hungover. Just it's all right, Coach.
Partly cloudy, yes.
Partly cloudy. I think he's mostly cloudy. He's partly cloudy sober. So what do you think when he's hungover?
I see one of my faithful followers over there, Bill Wilson, giving me a little props. I see him over there.
All right. Here we go. Stizz with his 24-6 record since the Super Bowl.
That's it.
On fire.
The kid's coming in hot, fellas. The kid is coming in hot. I'm going to piggyback, off your Titans must-win game today. And I'm going with our boy, Derrick Henry. Over 111.5 rushing yards.
Wow.
He had actually last time he played the Texans in Week 6, 212 rushing yards he had. He's averaging 118.5 per game. Texans ranked 30th in the league in run defense. I mean, he's going for that 2,000-yard mark, guys. 223 he needs. It's going to be tough, but I think I really think it's possible.
Especially if he breaks a long one out.
Yeah, early.
Yeah. Right, correct. And I can't see the Texans, getting a big lead over them. So listen, they're going to give this guy the ball every chance they get. Yeah. They're going to pound. This is actually crazy as it sounds. This is the highest prop total I've seen this year, 111.5. I mean, that's pretty big if you're betting props. And to be honest with you, I thought it would have been more of like 125, 130 because, like I said, he's going for that 2,000-yard mark. I was surprised to see it that low. So, yeah, man, 24-6. I'm laying on the line. I think I won 5 in a row now. So I'm going to try to stay hot and go with Derrick Henry over 111.5.
All right. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. We love it. Tommy, you're not triggering. I'm just having fun. It's not a trigger.
Yeah. You're not triggering anything, Tommy.
Yeah.
Talking about Kirk Cousins, that's just idiocy, basically. With your top 10 in this. And
that's the comedy of the show. That's really the comedy of the show, really.
Yeah. And that's what Coach, that's what Kirk Cousins is known for. He gets these stats, and when you look at it at the end of the year, you say, oh, his stats are good. But he's a loser. I mean, not to be and Tommy, there's only one stat that matters with quarterbacks in the NFL. Wins and losses.
Who's Karen, Tommy?
That's it. Oh, he triggered Karen because they call women who are, like the women who are nuts and like complain about everything are Karen.
Yeah.
Tom, you didn't trigger it. It's just the fact that, like I said, what matters is win and losses. Go look that up there, pee-pee eater.
Yeah, pee-pee
Tommy's
eater.
sitting there with his gladiator mask on at home.
So, all right, good stuff, everyone. Thank you for checking us out this morning. Go enjoy some playoff football. What are you showing that you have no pants on? What is that?
Fantasy football champion. That's
we love it, man.
I got my boxers on underneath, like on that commercial.
So
I was getting worried. Stizz was getting ready for after the show.
I was looking for the mistletoe, Nevada. I was making sure.
I was worried Stizz was going to get the tissues out. You know what I mean?
Oh man, yeah.
That's for the next podcast.
All right, guys. Welcome. Thanks for checking us out. We really appreciate it. Make sure you go over to YouTube, subscribe, ring the bell. We'll be back tomorrow. Recap all these all Nevada Knicks picks. I'm sure Stizz will jump in and tell us how great he is with his prop bet win. And so we appreciate everyone checking us out. Tell your friends, share it out. We greatly appreciate it. And we'll see everybody tomorrow. Enjoy some football. All right.
See you guys.